If you've searched how to get rid of mice, pour Pine Sol around your home and the mice will leave. There's millions of comments, likes, and people supporting this. We're a licensed pest control company and I've been doing pest control since 2012. We've done thousands of homes across the GTA for rodents, and there's one small problem. If you rely on this little yellow bottle of liquid, it's going to be costly. If you have an active infestation, unfortunately, the Pine Sol does not work the way that people claim it does. We're going to show you what you can do, and stick around to the end because there is one narrow use case where Pine Sol can help you get rid of an infestation. So let's start off with what the people online are saying, because we're not here to strawman anybody. What the viral hack says are a few things. One, pour Pine Sol original around the perimeter of your home. It will create a barrier that they do not want to cross. Two, soak cotton balls in Pine Sol, put them into entry points all around the home. Three, mop and wipe your floors and baseboards with Pine Sol. It will put a scent out there that overwhelms the sense of smell for mice and rats, drive them away, prevent them from coming in, and they'll just leave. They say it's cheap, it's safe, and it won't kill your grass. The logic sounds reasonable. Mice go around by using smell. It has a very strong odor. They don't like that, and it drives them out. So let's jump into why the claims fall apart. Reason one, the smell doesn't do exactly what they think. Mice do communicate through scent. They use their urine, pheromones, and droppings to put trails out to essentially say this is where you can travel. They love to go around the perimeters, into cracks and crevices, and voids, and that's how they communicate. You get this Pine Sol, and 100%, you open this bottle up, it smells great, it smells strong, and it for sure will remove and mask a lot of those scents that the mice have put down. And you'll notice a behavioral change for about 48 hours. Caveat, what they don't mention is that mice adapt extremely quick. So although you may see a brief change, you find out 48 hours, you just briefly annoyed them and they're right back to business. You did not eliminate them and they did not leave due to this. Reason two, scent is not a wall. Even if you drench an area in Pine Sol and it smells extremely strong, rats and mice are motivated. They're looking for nesting material, warmth, and food. If you have a cold winter and you have a nice meal, a little scent of Pine Sol is not going to stop them at all. They're determined, they're looking for shelter, and they want to live. They will go through. Mice only need a hole the size of a dime to get into, and they're not going to be deterred by this. They'll go in and get what they're seeking. All they want to do is eat, be safe, and breed. Reason three, and this is one that we don't hear anybody talking about, but there's a lot of people out there that say the pine oil in Pine Sol is a huge deterrent because it has a natural repellency for rodents. Big problem. Between 2014 and 2016, Pine Sol actually removed pine oil. It does not exist as an ingredient in here anymore. They've replaced it with synthetic chemicals, and that repellent oil that everybody claims is no longer there. So even though that oil on its own claims to be a deterrent, but we know it really doesn't work as well, it is actually non-existent in here. So when you're listening to people talk about those claims, that is not there at all. And reason four, even if you were able to get Pine Sol that did have the old active ingredient that had pine oil, there's tons of studies, and we also break that down in some other videos, that prove rodents still adapt fast to that. So even if you're able to get the old stuff with the active pine oil that people claim works amazing, it is not a good defense to get rid of an active infestation. So the real cost of the Pine Sol fix. Yes, it's inexpensive, it's easy to do, and you can try it. But I can't tell you how many times I've been into a home that smells great. It smells like Pine Sol, mint oil, and a bunch of different deterrents that they claim mice don't like. And when we talk to the homeowner, they'll say, I saw mice under the sink, I wiped the area up, I put the cotton balls soaked with this liquid in there, and I haven't seen anything. What that actually did is it drove them into the walls. We'll then investigate, go up to the attic or into the walls, and they'll be in there nesting in the insulation. And what they'll do in there is go into these voids, they'll defecate, they'll urinate, and they'll continue to breed in there, and they continue to contaminate your house. And the problem is that you're checking the areas where you may have smelled or seen droppings in the past. There's nothing there, but the infestation continues to grow when they continue to breed. As we know, mice will have a litter of babies every 3 weeks, and they'll start to breed with each other. So you can have an explosion of rodents that start to infest and actually do more damage to your home, even though you may not see it in your living space. Another challenge with using Pine Sol is that you mask how you need to monitor an infestation. You've seen droppings in urine in areas where they've been comfortable. You've then removed those pheromones, droppings in urine, and you don't see them anymore. Not only do you not see them, the strong scent of this Pine Sol masks what you can smell. One of the biggest things that people notice is the smell of urine or droppings throughout their home, and that tees them up to say, hey, I may have a mouse infestation. When all you smell is Pine Sol, you think, all right, I'm good to go. As you continue to check and monitor, you lose the consistency of seeing where the mice are traveling and where they're hiding. And although you don't see the droppings in urine in the same locations you did before, they're often going to go hide that in your house somewhere that's inaccessible, which makes it even harder to sanitize and can make it even more difficult to get the mice because they don't want to come out to where you are. So the gold standard, you have a mouse infestation, let's talk about how you actually get rid of them for good. Step one is inspection and exclusion. As we mentioned before, mice will get into any hole that is the size of a dime or bigger. If their head fits in, their whole body follows. Rats need something closer to the size of about a loonie or so you have to look for all these little cracks and crevices. So start off with an exterior inspection. The most common spots where your gas, electrical, and water lines penetrate into the side of your home. You want to check all those areas that are sealed. You also want to look at all weather stripping. And this is the rubber part at the bottom of both garage and man doors. Mice and rats can chew this and get access inside. You want to make sure all of this is sealed up. And what do you use? You can use hardware cloth to block up larger holes. You can use silicone, caulking, or other exclusion material to block up any of these gaps, cracks, or crevices. Or very simply, you can even get steel wool and jam them in. Mice and rats do not chew through the steel wool. They don't like the way it feels, and it will deter them. You cannot repel your way out of a problem by using something like Pine Sol. You need to close the door and stop them from coming in first. Step two is you want to remove food and nesting material. Mice are looking for shelter, warmth, and food. That's what's drawing them in. So the first thing you want to do is eliminate any food that they would be looking for. They love grass seed, they love bird seed, they love any sort of dried good or any access to food or garbage. It doesn't take much for them to get a meal. Anything that is dried or has a scent, you want to make sure you put it into air-sealed containers, not only so they can't chew at it, but you want to stop that scent from going out there because rodents have a very sensitive sense of smell and this will attract them in. The other thing you want to eliminate is nesting material. They are looking for nesting material so they can make a nest and they can continue to breed. What is nesting material? Probably number one is insulation. It's in your walls and attic, and that's why we see so many infestations in there. So if you have any of this out, you want to make sure it is not accessible or it's sealed up. There are also very opportunistic. So even if you have things like toilet paper, paper towel, fabric, or even cardboard bags, they'll shred that up and make a great nest. So make sure all of this is secure, they cannot get it, and you're going to prevent mice from seeking out what they're looking for. Step three, and this is the most critical, it's elimination with the use of rodenticide or traps. So now that you've blocked up the exterior, it's secured to make sure that no new rodents get in, you've removed the food, and you've removed the nesting material access. Let's say you went and you mopped, you put cotton balls everywhere, and this scent is there. Great. You've driven the mice into areas where there is no scent. Your walls, your attic, and other voids that are inaccessible. So what do? You want to use either mechanical traps like snap traps, or you want to use rodenticide, and you always have to make sure it's in a locked box so it's safe for pets and children. You want to go treat all the areas where you've seen activity, and you also want to make sure you go into those areas we just talked about. And remember, repellents do not remove a single rodent. Traps and rodenticide do. Step four, and this is also very critical, is to monitor. Even though you've placed traps and put rodenticide out, you need to follow up and make sure that the activity is stopped. How do you do that? One, you stop getting activity on your traps. Two, you stop getting feeding on the bait. And of course, you don't hear, see, or smell any new activity from mice. So you're not smelling any fresh urine, you're not seeing any fresh droppings, and you're not seeing any gnaw marks, chewing, or damage to any sort of food, bags, or things that mice are looking for. Although you've put everything out, you need to continue to monitor at least for a few weeks because they can have multiple litters, and as the smaller ones get bigger, you may have a new cycle. So continue to monitor. So does Pine Sol help at all? At the beginning, we said we'd be straight with you, and the short answer is yes. Pine Sol does remove the pheromones, does disinfect, and it can help disrupt the smell. Pine Sol is a tool used in a sanitation routine. It is not going to get rid of them. So once you've inspected and excluded, removed all of the food and nesting material that you can, and eliminated the mice, Pine Sol would be a great part of the routine for sanitation and making sure everything stays sterile. Bottom line, Pine Sol is a cleaner that got turned into a myth by a viral video. We're not here to say don't try DIY, and if it's worked for you, we'd love to hear about it in the comments, but we just see so many people that we try to help that go online, try this stuff, and because it delays dealing with the actual cause, it makes the infestation so much harder to deal with. If there's any other tips, tricks, or anything that's either worked for you or you have questions about, we'd love to educate, take a look, and see what works and make a video for you. Drop it into the comments, and if you liked what you saw today, please subscribe. Until next time.